This is Jesus with his friends. He loved to talk with his friends, and he loved to tell them all about God, how much God loves us and how much God cares for us. And his favourite way of telling us about God was through special stories or parables. And today he was going to tell them the story or the parable of the farmer who went to sow his seed. And so the story begins. Here's the farmer in his field. It's a big field, and he's a very busy farmer. So he gets up early to sow his seed. He picks up his bucket of seed. He walks to the field, and he starts to sow his seed. Some seed falls on the path, and the birds swoop in, and they eat all the seed, and there's none left. Some seed falls on thin soil. It grows, but because the soil is thin and the sun comes up, the crop soon withers and dies. Some seed fall on soil with lots of weeds and thistles, and these weeds and thistles, as they grow with the crops, choke the life out of them, and they soon wither and die. But good news! Some crops grow in good soil. It's thick, it's full of nutrients, it's lots of water and lots of sunshine, and it grows to a really big harvest, and the farmer is really, really happy. And as Jesus told this story to his friends, they said, "Jesus, that's a really good story. But what does it mean?" "Well," said Jesus, "it's like this. The seed which lands on the pathway and the birds gobble up reminds us of people who are so busy and preoccupied with unimportant things that they don't hear about God. They miss out on all the good news that Jesus offers. And so they go through life not knowing the love and the good news of Jesus. As for the soil, which is thin, upon which the seed falls, well, these are people who hear about God. They get really excited, but then they get bored, or things get a little bit difficult, and so they wander off, and they miss out on all the good news of Jesus. The seed which falls upon the thistles and weeds remind us of people who are so worried and anxious about unimportant things. They only think about their problems, and they think, it's all about me, instead of listening to God. And so their worries take them away from hearing the good news of Jesus and the hope and joy that he brings. Now the soil upon which the seed falls, which is thick and juicy and full of nutrients and water, well, they're people who hear the good news. They get really excited. They get really full of commitment. And they love to spend every day with Jesus. They talk with him in prayer. They read the Bible and become members of church. And they grow. And though times can become difficult, because they know Jesus, they have the strength to persevere and get through to the end. Now, Jesus tells these stories to get us to think. And in this story, Jesus is saying, which type of soil are you? When the seed of the good news of Jesus comes, how will you receive it? Will you be too busy and preoccupied with unimportant things? Will you just give up after a while? Or will you worry yourself silly? Or will you be like the good soil that receives the seed with joy and happiness, and you get to know Jesus for yourself, and he becomes your best friend in the whole wide world?